since we share a child together, I mean, we still have some sort of relationship, trying to co-parent, trying to just be civil with each other. When I was moving in December, he offered to store the belongings. A lot of them were for, our son, and
He offered to store them where?
It was going to be at his garage in his house.
That he was renting?
Yes.
All right. And so he took them, or you stored them there when? December of what year?
2018.
Okay.
And how long were you going to be keeping it there?
6 months was what we agreed upon. He also said, if it needs to be longer, that's fine.
Okay. Is that correct?
No, it's not, Your Honor.
According to you, how long was she allowed to keep it there?
Until both of our seasonal rentals were over.
Seasonal
Rentals.
rentals. And your seasonal rentals were going to be over when?
Around the same time,
Which
around
is when?
April and May.
April?
Or May.
So
Her
you
landlord
were going to
let
be
her stay.
storing her stuff until April or May?
Correct.
All right. Well, I see texts from you in January to her telling her
Yeah.
that she has to get her stuff out.
Yeah. And
Why?
the reason for that is my landlord in the house was moving his belongings back into the garage. So at the moment when I was, I had good intentions to
Okay,
store
so
stuff.
you meant to be able to do that, but then it turned out you lost your ability to do that.
I lost my ability to do that.
And you weren't
He's doing you a favor right now.
paying him to
No.
keep his stuff. All right. So he informs you in January. Is that correct, that you need to get your stuff out?
Yes, he informed me, and then 2 days later, he said that he moved it to another location where it
where?
was safe. His boss's garage.
Did you send her a text saying, you don't have to pick up your stuff anymore, I'm able to store it at my boss's?
Absolutely not. I said
Okay.
I can store it at my boss's.
But you still got to get it.
But you still have to get it.
Okay.
Yes.
And you never tell her, oh, no worry, whenever you can get around to it, it's fine.
Well, I do tell her, I'm telling her January, we got to figure something out. Whether I get you a pod, whether I do this, give me somewhere to take it. I have a truck. Give me an address. I'll take it there. That wasn't our agreement. So everything is just a very entitlement kind of attitude.
You're offering to help your ex move the stuff that's her responsibility to move, store
Give
the
me a
stuff that's
place.
her responsibility to store.
I'll pay for half a pod.
And
I don't know why she's giving the bailiff her phone. Like the judge doesn't already have the text messages. I'm interested to see what other thing is different. Did he delete text messages?
she's telling you that wasn't our agreement.
That wasn't our agreement.
Right. You're not paying him, right?
Yes.
Right. So there's no
Doing you
such
a favor.
thing as a contract. Why'd you two break up?
We've been going out since high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long did you date?
How long did you date before we broke up? So
Yeah.
I would say 6, 7, 8 years.
And then you decided to have a baby at the end of it?
And then we had a baby at the end because we,
The very end of the 8 years is when you guys popped out a baby
She
and
went
broke
to
up?
college. I was doing my thing.
No,
then we
I don't
kinda
want
met
you to
back
have a
up.
baby earlier. I'm wondering why the baby happened
Why the
when you
baby
guys were on the
happened?
tail
Tail
end.
end
I
of
was
your-
madly in love with the girl. I was hoping for a great relationship. We lived in a house together, bought beautiful furniture, and had everything going. I made a mistake and had to go away for a little bit of time, and then because of that,
When you say go away, to jail?
Jail.
yes, I did for 6 months.
What was the mistake? What were the charges?
Violating probation, and I
What
went
was the
away for 6
probation?
For
months.
what?
Conspiracy to distribute 500 grams of cocaine back in 2010.
All right. How long did you serve any jail time
Yeah.
originally?
18 months and then 6-month violation.
Okay. Who's the lady with you?
This is my criminal attorney for
Oh.
the false arrest for all that
Oh,
other
this
stuff.
was the new girlfriend.
No.
No, I'm married.
So basically, from what I understand, the guy's doing you a favor. He doesn't have to do that. That's somebody else's property. But of course, with modern women, and this is why men are walking away, they always think that they're entitled to something. They always think that they're entitled to a man making them whole. When they themselves, modern women have stopped making promises because they know that they intend not to keep them. But let's keep listening.
Of this is you tell her she's got to get the stuff out.
Even if there is a time, she's saying I can keep her stuff there. This is before I got wind that we're tearing down this building. We have to empty it out, and we're building a house in Southampton, and we're tearing down this building on this property. Now, in April, you have about 2 to 3 weeks. Can we figure something out with this to move your stuff?
And what does she do?
Refuses to come get it, refuses to get it, sending texts about this isn't our agreement, you're this, you're a piece of that.
Well,
And
let's see.
ever since,
Let's
you
see
know-
exactly what happens. I am going to put it all outside and on a tarp and wrap it up, and then you get what you need, and I'll move it all back. These are all recipes.
Because
for
she's
disaster.
playing games with,
I
let me
just
just
don't
come get
understand
a
why you're
box.
doing this. And this is your ex. Don't get involved in this. You shouldn't have offered this to begin with. You offered it. No good deed goes unpunished. This is a huge problem. He says, my boss doesn't want all these games getting played at his place, to which you answer, enough with your boss. You're annoying.
As it kept going
I'm sorry,
back.
again, are you paying him for storage?
No.
No.
Exactly. Why don't you go get your stuff? The first time someone tells you go get your stuff, it's time to go get your stuff.
Well, this is what modern women do. This is how they act. This is why they can be in court. They can be in jail. It doesn't matter. A modern woman is going to be a modern woman in any situation. And you're just seeing it right now on full display. He said, listen, it's not me. I intended to keep my promise. Now, I'm not saying the dude is a good guy. I'm just saying, he's saying, I intended to do this, but there are external forces outside of my control. This is not my property. You got to come get your stuff.
I'm telling you this because if you don't, that's fine. But then you come to court and sue for $5 grand because that's a maximum. According to you, you're out $8 grand. You have $8 grand worth of stuff, but you can't sell $1 grand of it to go pay for a pod that's $100. So you finally get around on April 26th to going to get the stuff.
So I reached out to him. So this was April 2nd that he notified me. He said, hey.
Well, no, he told you January 30th.
No, about the building being torn down.
Right, I know, but he told you get your stuff January 30th. Your free bailment, because that's what we call that. That is a bailment for free, which he has very little responsibility to take such good care of, all right, was cut off in January. You did nothing in January, February.
So you had 3 months.
March,
A couple
April.
months. A couple
when do you
months.
put her stuff outside?
About 2 weeks before we tore down that building. I also have photos of her stuff that she left, and in the background is the machine tearing the building down.
Let me see those photos.
There's the machine, and there's her stuff with her couch and the grill and all the other stuff, and that's the building getting torn down. That's the stuff she left.
Wow, nothing like cutting it close.
So if we thought he was a lying, conniving person then, it's literally getting torn down in the background. So now, oh, shoot, you're serious. Let me come get my stuff. But does a modern woman say that? No, it's still all about her. Let's continue.
What are these pictures?
Those pictures for the countersuit, for the
What?
retainer that I did, the work for the retainer for the countersuit.
It's my house, Judge.
That's her house.
And
Well, just to prove that I did the
Why do you
work
have
on her
your
house.
picture of your lawyer's house
Well, I
looking
just said
like a
that 'cause
mess?
the retainer was
with
for $5,000.
With dishes everywhere and chips. Why is this? Are you two dating?
no.
Okay, so what is that a picture of?
Okay, so
Kitchen counter.
that's my kitchen that he was doing in lieu.
What do you mean
of-
doing?
I renovated the
He
whole kitchen.
renovated the whole kitchen.
Oh, and it just happens to be messy the day he takes a picture?
Yeah.
Well, I just had a baby,
stuff.
Judge.
Oh, girl, you mess up all you want. All right. So you have a counterclaim against her for $5,000 in legal fees. Tell me about that. Is that for you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
She had me falsely arrested, Your Honor. I was
How?
outside of, I get to see my son, finally. She comes back to pick our son up. I walk outside, put my son in the car, walk back inside. Oh, go to walk to my truck. She said, oh, you forgot his blanket. I go back inside the house, grab the blanket, come outside, go through the passenger door, hand my son his blanket, walk around the car, leave. We both leave. A week later,
She's upset.
I'm telling her, I'm like, Jessica, I want to see my son more.
She's still upset about what happened in January. This is how long modern women can hold a grudge. It doesn't matter whether you separate. It doesn't matter how many times they say that they've healed, they've gone through therapy, they've worked on their inner self. They still want to get back at you. And this is just another example.
I need to see my son. I need to see my son. It's court ordered that I'm allowed to see my son.
When you say it's court ordered, was there a visitation schedule?
Our visitation schedule that we had because I was going away was more of a verbal schedule.
Yeah,
but there
so
was
you
no.
guys can't talk and resolve things. You can't.
Of course we can. But there was nothing stated that she
So
put
have
on
you
the
gone
report.
back to court to get
Yes.
structured visitation?
Yes, we have. We're dealing
Okay,
with that
good.
now.
All right, go on.
I go on like Jessica. I'm texting. I'm like, you need to let me see my son more. I want to see him. I'll just keep writing police reports. The more you don't let me see my son. This is.
How are you
I'm
going to write a
getting
police
involved.
report about her not letting you
Because
see
since
son?
we
What
already
you need to
have-
do instead is go to court and ask for a structured visitation.
Yeah, I
He's
was
doing
by counsel told me to if you have a verbal agreement to see your son and she's refusing to let you see him, then you call the police and make a report until we have court.
I got an
Document.
idea. How about just file the motion, right? That would work. All right, go.
Yeah, but what he's saying is I need evidence that I'm asking to see my son and she's keeping my son away from me. So when I go to court, you should understand this, the legality of everything. I need proof. What proof do you have? More than just a text message. I've tried to get the authorities involved and they're saying, this is the report that I made. I know you want me to file whatever you want me to file, but I'm trying to make sure that I have. Counsel was right on that.
Yeah, but I did, Your
advised
Honor.
him-
I did.
So
But
what, it was
all
just
this
taking
timing
so
is
much
very,
time?
is very quick. It's just
All right,
months
so
and
go
weeks.
on.
It's all the
So
same
go on.
timing.
So go on.
So a week later, I write the report. So I'm telling her I wrote the police reports on her. Next thing you know, an hour later, I got a cop at my door saying that I grabbed her by the ribs with two of my hands the day that I seen my son and pushed her out of the way to give
How?
my son the blanket.
With no proof.
So I get arrested, put in jail.
What happened that day? Hold on.
Okay, what happened that day is I went, dropped the baby off, took him, came back to pick him up.
Okay.
He came outside with the baby. The whole idea of that was to kind of have like someone else there just to make sure. That's why we.
She's lying. Look at her eyes. She's lying. She's been waiting to say this, and she's been waiting to make this story. This is performative behavior.
It at his brother's house. So he goes to go to his car and leave, and then I realized that our son's blanket wasn't there, so I just asked him to get it. So he comes back. So I'm standing. The baby's already in the car. So he comes over. He doesn't say two words to me, and he steps in front of me and pushes me out of the way.
How?
And then
With how many hands?
One hand.
He
He
does-
just, yeah, grabbed
I
me by
want you
the
to do
side.
something. I want you to. He already knew what I was going to
Okay.
do.
I'm standing here inside the car door. I'm standing like this, waiting for him, thinking he's just going to hand me the baby's blanket because I'm standing here. Doesn't say 2 words. He steps in, goes like this, and then reaches in the car. So
So you went to the police?
because after I
Why were you in the way? If you were really threatened and if you were really in danger, you would have moved out of the way. You might have been trying to impede.
said to him, I said, please do not put your hands on me. He walks away, tells me to suck a. So again, this was the behavior I felt was escalating.
Go ahead. And according to you, all you wanted was to
Like a
have it
complaint,
recorded.
yes.
Except you know that you have sought a restraining order against him, and that there was there a restraining order already in effect?
Or refrain from, yes.
Right, a refrain from. You don't have to stay away from each other, but you have to refrain from violence.
Correct.
Yeah, but doing anything
Right, yeah,
illegal,
that's kind of what the
violence.
rest of us
Yeah.
have to do too. We all have that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I never understood when judges issue that. You either have to have no contact or don't come to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get arrested for violating that. And then what happens? That's where you come in.
Yes, Your Honor. On August 31st, 2018, I received a call. It was in the evening, and it was Mr. Morrison, and he had said that
Had you ever represented him before?
I had in the previous case.
That was a criminal case then.
It was a felony where he was facing 4 years incarceration.
And what happens? That would not happen on these facts.
Probation.
We all know that. But what happened?
What happened was I went to court on a Saturday morning, and Mr. Morrison had spent the night in jail, and he said, listen, I think there are videos at my brother's house that were working that night.
So you have a video of what she's talking about that you want me to see because you have a counterclaim against her for the value of the legal fees that you had to work off.
Oh, this is good.
Okay.
And Judge, just for the record, I didn't know he was taking that picture when my house was a little messy.
Don't worry.
I had 3 months.
Don't worry about it.
So clear that you had no idea that was going to come up. There's not a person in America who is not, or elsewhere, that is not clear.
Thank you, Judge.
Have you seen this video?
Yes, Judge. And I provided it to the prosecutor as well as the court. After the prosecutor,
I mean, he looks pretty mad. I can't tell if he touched her or not. The
Nice
the
try.
car is kind of covering it. But
Judge,
go ahead.
can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
The plaintiff demonstrated here that he basically, with one hand, kind of swiped her away. In her statement that got him arrested,
She said that there were 2 hands placed on her ribs.
Correct, Judge.
In fact, he approached me at the car, he put his hands on my ribs and pushed me out of the way. You tell me how that would
Now-
look like what I'm seeing right now in the corner.
Yep.
I explained
wanna
to
see that too.
the detectives multiple times, it didn't hurt me. It wasn't an intent to hurt me. It was
Yep.
to bully me.
That's what I'm saying. Why are you not moving? I would have expected her to be around that car. Over on the other side, I would have expected her to step out of the way. Step out the way. What she's trying to do is make a problem. This is what modern women do. And they don't put their, sometimes they do, but in order, especially when y'all are both going back and forth to the police station and to the court and trying to jockey for position, modern women like this will not outright put their hands on you. Oh, well, Judge, you see what he did. Move out of the way. Go stand by that tree over there. Go stand by the truck. Go stand on the other side of the car. Move.
Move me out of the way.
I don't know. He's in there
Girl.
leaning in pretty quickly. I don't know how he could have put 2 hands on you. I don't know that you could really think
Come on.
that was, something that would violate.
She's saying something
The
to
order.
him. She's saying something to him right there. She's talking to him.
Hands on you, and
And I
I don't
never
know that
told
you
them
could
that it
really
was-
think
She's talking to him.
was, something that would violate the order.
Ultimately, after the assistant district attorney viewed the video, she dismissed the case in the interest of justice based on this video. If you would like to have that, I have a certified copy.
What did the prosecutor tell you?
When I met with the DA, they said due to the video, because the car door was in the way, there was nothing that clearly showed.
If this video didn't exist and they believed you, they'd go forward.
Yeah.
So what the video concerned them is that they had a guy who shouldn't be criminally charged, who was criminally charged. You're calling the cops on him for what you claim happened, which is specifically approached me at the car, put his hands on my ribs, and pushed me out of the way.
I wanted to
That
make
cost
it.
him to have to renovate a kitchen to afford a lawyer. You understand that? This to the guy who was storing your stuff for all that time for
For
free
free.
as a
This
favor.
was before,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
You've kept storing our stuff after this happened?
Believe that?
You're an idiot.
I know.
Yes.
No, I'm
Yep.
serious. You're not a nice guy. I'm such a nice.
I know.
No, you're an idiot.
I get it.
Because You are creating situation.
And guys like, look at him taking accountability. She's trying to no, you're an idiot. No, you're not a nice. Yes, ma'am, I am. And they say men don't take accountability. The only person in that courtroom not taking accountability is her. And modern women continue to say that men don't bend over backwards.
That will just make
Men don't protect or provide. We have Exhibit A right here.
everything explode worse.
We have a
Instead
child
of
together, Your
staying
Honor.
clear, following the court orders, and keeping your distance. That's what keeps things peaceful. Okay, let's first take the plaintiff's case against the defendant. You are suing him to pay you $5,000. According to you, you are actually out $8,000 because, according to you, your stuff is ruined because of the way he has held on to it. I find that he has absolutely no duty to take care of your stuff by the time that you finally bothered yourself to go pick it
Come
up.
get it.
He was keeping it for you for free, which still puts an obligation on you to take care of it.
Absolutely.
But by January, he had told you, I have to move it to my boss's place. You've got to get your stuff. You've got to pick it up. And there is no effort on your part to pick it up. Months and months passed, which is way beyond what
Yep.
the law would consider abandonment. And then by April 2nd, he tells you, we are demolishing this place. Come
Please
and get
come
the stuff.
get it.
Your response is to get there on April 26th, complain about it, and tell me, it wasn't that big a rush, Judge, because they didn't even demolish until May. That is your response. I find that he had no legal obligation to continue to take care of your stuff. The world doesn't owe you things, and that it was your obligation to go ahead and pick up your stuff. Now we have a counterclaim by him. We have a counterclaim where he says you told the police a lie. You told the police that he put both hands on your ribs and pushed you. And he has a video that shows that he did not put both hands on your ribs and pushed you. I saw the video. The prosecutor in the case saw the video. And the prosecutor in the case, in the interest of justice, said, I can't prosecute this guy. There's no evidence that swiftly as that happened, there is no evidence that he put both hands on her ribs and pushed her.
And you know what she was banking on? The fact that he'd already been to jail. The fact that he already had a record. This is what modern women do. They know these things. And so they're saying, well, the police are going to believe me, which it looks like they did. And they sent him, well, he had this claim going on. And then when it went to the prosecutor, man, what is this? This is foolishness. Modern women continue to try to keep up mess to get men in more and more legal trouble. They don't mind doing it. To them, they're so emotional that serves him right. Now, at some point in time, because they'll sit and think about it, they'll say, well, maybe I didn't have to do that. Or, yeah, I was really wrong about that. But they'll go and tell their friends or somebody that they know will agree with them or watch a TikTok video. And then, I shouldn't have done it, but I was justified. They'll never go back and say, I'm sorry. And you wonder why you wonder why men would rather stay single, why men would rather not date. This is the type of stuff that you can get into.
Which is different from what you said in court here today. There are consequences for actions, just like there are consequences for inactions. Your actions of going to the police ended up costing him a night in jail and a $5,000 retainer with her, where he had to put in sweat equity, good deal, by the way, and got a new kitchen for the $5,000 in labor, okay? He's got to do that for free.
And she was a good woman for allowing him to do that. She was a good attorney for allowing him to do that because she didn't have, no, I want cash money. She said, you know what? I'm trying to help you. I think she's a bad woman. Can you do my kitchen for me? I get a little something. I really need this done. You get my help. So we both help each other out. Wow. The highest honor to you.
No, you owe him $5,000. On your lawsuit against him, $0. And on his lawsuit against you, $5,000.
The heck out of here. As I'm glad it went that way, because you were sitting up in there lying, sitting up in there trying to get him thrown back in jail. And then what you were going to do is, well, Your Honor, he's not really a good person. He's not really a good father. He's been to jail for possession. And then, he put his hands on me. So they sent him back to jail. And now we have this to where he held my stuff hostage. Do you really want somebody out on the street like that, Your Honor? He really could. I know you gave him probation and he finished that, but that was terrible. I need my son, Your Honor, sole custody. And by the way, you need to have him pay child support. And by the way, Your Honor, this is old. These are old check stubs, but I don't have anything else. Base your child support on this. So back-breaking work. So now he effectively becomes indebted to me. He becomes my slave. That's what modern women do. And they wonder why men would rather walk away. They wonder why men would rather stay single. They wonder why men would rather not approach them. Exhibit A.